weed of the week is Hemp Dogbane. Well, Hemp Dogbane, if you look on the label of many herbicides like Roundup, for example, I don't know if there's a weed that calls for a higher use rate than Hemp Dogbane.
Well, the problem with Hemp Dogbane is it's a perennial weed. It's going to get going pretty early in the spring. It's got a deep root system. So if you want to get this thing under control, here's the first step. Don't do tillage. That makes the problem worse, because now what happens is any rhizomes or anything else underground, you've kind of separated those from the main plant. And what we want to do is leave the whole thing intact. We want to hit it with a good strong rate of Roundup so it can get down into the root system and all the way through the root system to kill every last individual growing point.
Okay, here's point number 2 then. If point number 1 is don't do tillage, point number 2 is don't use too much water. When we think about trying to get anything to stick in a Hemp Dogbane plant, it's really smooth, and you look at how those leaves are sloped. I mean, they're just designed to dump herbicide down on the ground. So you want to have concentrated droplets, so follow the label, but I would recommend going towards the lower end of the labeled rate for water usage, and then of course the higher end of the labeled rate for herbicide usage.
Here's one other issue we always end up with early in the spring. I want to spray, but the weather's just too cold. If you've got nighttime temperatures below 50 degrees, we're going to tell you with Hemp Dogbane, just wait. It's too early. You got to wait until those nighttime temps are above 50. That's when you'll have the best success. Now, certainly you can go spray, but chances are you're going to end up spraying again, or just you're not going to completely kill everything and you'll let it go and you'll say, then no big deal. I guess that Roundup doesn't work that well. No, Roundup works phenomenal if you let the weather be warm and you have the right rate out there. Use the maximum labeled rate.
So when it comes to controlling Hemp Dogbane, we've talked about Roundup. We're talking about Roundup in a burn down situation. In crop, you cannot use a high enough rate to completely wipe out Hemp Dogbane and get down in that root system. The same would be true with Liberty and Gramoxone. You're not going to get down into that root system. You're only going to be able to burn off top growth. So really, those are the only 3 options I see in any crop. Brian, do you see anything else that works?
Well, no. I mean, you can do things like Status in corn to burn it back. And I mean, there are products that you can burn this thing back with, like maybe Husky and wheat. But that's all you're doing is burning it back a little bit. So do a burn down with a high rate of Roundup, low water, and when the weather's warm, and you should have great success.
That's all time we have for our Weed of the Week, Hemp Dogbane, but stay tuned. Iron Talk is coming up next.